Good morning, Destiny players. It's been roughly 6 months since Lightfall launched, so let's recap some of my favorite builds I've created since the mod system got overhauled. I got 3 per class here. I am Bladeburger, your local The Great Library is the best wonder kind of guy, and hey, I'm only 39 away from the big 1000 as of making this script, so be sure to help a burger out and get that number higher. Let's get into the video. For today's topic, we have 9 builds that I've enjoyed using since Lightfall's launch. 3 Hunter, 3 Titan, and 3 Warlock. These builds range in power from Grandmaster ready powerhouses to builds that are just fun to play. I would include my young Ahamkara Spine build here, but it's getting nerfed, so not including it here. Let's begin. The first Hunter build is for Lucky Pants. I've already made 2 videos on this exotic, and I could make a third if I wanted to. The Lucky Pants exotic allows readying a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or damage matching your subclass type, lets hits increase damage, 60% per stack, up to 10 stacks for a total of 600% damage. Yes, it does stack with Surges and Radiant. Key parts of this mod are the exotic, Lucky Pants, and the hand cannons that are used to maximize DPS. In each video I've made, I use Malfeasance. In the second video it had its catalyst, granting Vorpal Weapon. Recently though, Warden's Law was released, and its DPS is higher than Malfeasance, so I've swapped to that weapon to free up my exotic slot. Warden's Law with 4th times the charm, and Vorpal Weapon outdamages Malfeasance. This build uses synergies between multiple surges and fonts to make the best out of the incredibly high damage that Lucky Pants can do. It works especially well in raids with longer DPS phases like Rokipu or Oryx. Pull out the hand cannon, unload with it, and then use a linear until the cooldown from the ability expires, then whip it out again to do more damage than most other strategies. It's very strong. Check out my more recent video for a more in-depth explanation. The second Hunter build that I use all the time is Caliban's Hand. These gauntlets allow proximity knife placements to speed up the recharge on your proximity knife, and kills with proximity knives cause the killed enemy to ignite. It also scorches on hits. With Knock 'em Down and Ember of Torches, you have infinite throwing knives as long as you keep killing. This isn't a Grandmaster ready build, but it does offer a ton of ability spam for lower tier content like seasonal activities. The build takes advantage of kickstarts, but not melee kickstart, utility kickstart, to continue to allow you to throw knives like there's no tomorrow. If you do it right, you'll never have to fire a shot, but we still have mods that allow you to deal some damage if you don't have a knife. For the third build, the new Mothkeeper's Wraps and Exterior Synergy is my favorite of the 3 new exotics in Season of the Witch. Mothkeeper's Wraps converts your grenade into moths. If they land near enemies, they become damaging arc moths that explode and blind. If they land near allies, they become void moths that grant overshields. They can mix and match depending on the enemy and ally proximity. Exterius is a grenade launcher that allows kills to make moths. Normally, it makes only 1 arc moth, but with Mothkeeper's Wraps, it always makes 1 arc moth and 1 void moth. Take a shot every time I say moth, you'll be dead by the end of the section. This build centers around grenades. Throw them, kill enemies, or get overshields. Profit. Exterius helps make moth spamming more frequent. It's surprisingly strong in most content aside from Grandmasters. For our Titan builds, the first is Abandoned Leap. Probably the strongest build on this list apart from one of the Warlock builds, this build is a crowd control king. Abandoned Leap adds 2 more lashes to Dranger's Lash aspect and grants Woven Mail on suspension. Dranger's Lash allows Barricade Cast to shoot out a wave of strand energy that suspend enemies it hits. It counters all types of champions pretty effectively, and this build sends it into overdrive with mods and fragments that speed up class ability recharge and give energy when we meet certain criteria, like killing suspended enemies. Suspend is still extremely strong even after its recent nerf. If you need a Titan build to make Grandmasters to breeze, check this one out. I haven't updated it in quite some time, so I may take a look at it again at the start of next season, or when I need a build for a week this season. We'll see. The second build is a new raid all-star, Pyrogale Gauntlets. It allows Consecration, where you leap up and slam the ground, to make a tornado upon landing. It also converts Burning Ball into a burst super, creating multiple fire tornadoes upon slamming instead of being a roaming super. Surprise, surprise, it's really freaking good. If only Bungie did this to every super changing exotic. My own build really triples down on the melee though, since that also deals quite a lot of damage. Guaranteed ignition too if you hit with the initial leap upwards wave of Scorch. Melee kickstart and many ways to create orbs of power helps out to get it back. Monte Carlo as the weapon of choice allows us to get it back pretty reliably. With that one mod that gives super energy on melee kills, I forget the name and I'm too lazy to check, we can get our super much quicker. Does really high damage, more than Celestial, Nighthawk, and Krieger's Yeet super. It is being used quite a bit in the new Crotas. I haven't done the new Crotas yet though because I don't have friends. For build number 3 for the punchy class, we have a non-punchy build, Ashen Wake. converts your fusion grenades into a fireball that gives energy back with how many kills you get. I haven't updated this build in quite some time, so the old one may not be super good, but this build is a grenade slinging beast. Immensely enjoyable to constantly be able to yeet small fireballs to defeat enemies. In seasonal content, it's easy to reach full recharge in just one throw. We do also have mods to help get our grenade back, assuming we don't kill enough enemies. Kickstarts and fire sprite generation. The main downside to this build is that Solar Titan just has so many good other options that this one falls to the wayside. Very sad. What isn't sad is that our Warlock builds are up. The first is my Osteostriga Necrotic Grips build. To summarize what this build does in a few words, poison literally everything and proc devour endlessly. This build is a Void Devourer based build that leverages surges to make our primary weapon destroy everything it comes across. This build works across the game, as the regular Void kit for Warlock is just insanely good. It's made better by a few things, either Briar Binds or the synergies between Necrotic Grips and other weapons. Osteostriga is just the best to pair with it, as the poison spread is easiest to proc and the most devastating for your enemies. With the constant healing through the Devour, it's easy to stay alive to spread the poison. The second build for Warlock is probably the strongest build on this list. Osmiomancy Gloves and Stasis Turrets. This build locks down entire rooms with ease. Osmiomancy Gloves grants an additional Cold Snap grenade charge, and direct hits with it increases its recharge rate. We abuse them with Stasis Turrets to make a build that renders everything immobile, from champions to majors to red bars and more. With kickstarts and the synergies from Elemental Charge, the Cold Snap comes back very quickly, so we can throw out another and freeze the whole room again. I've heard people say that Stasis Turrets fell off, with the 3.0 reworks allowing for insane damage, but I highly disagree. When you spec for high damage, enemies can still shoot you. When you freeze the enemies, they can't shoot you, and you can shoot them. It's a win-win. Less dying, more freezing. I just wish Stasis Warlock got another super. I really dislike the one they have. To be honest, I wish Bungie paid attention to Stasis. Bring back Shadow Dive builds, please. For the third build for Warlock, Fallen Sunstar and Coldheart. Fallen Sunstar allows ionic traces created to give back even more energy, and give some to allies as well. A pretty popular build, my own take goes all in. Surges for Coldheart to increase damage, Elemental Charge to get reliable armor charges. This build is for those who want to spam abilities all game, never really needing to fire Coldheart, but only for a few niche circumstances where you miss an ability. A true powerhouse of a build that makes enemies fall by the hundreds, if only the exotic looked better. So there's the 9 builds. All are strong in their own right, and will probably only get stronger as the game goes on, unless Salty Grabbo starts complaining that they make already easy activities even easier. Video links are all in the description, and be sure to let me know any feedback for them if you want to see updated versions of these builds in the future. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Join my Discord. Become a member. See you all in the next one. Blade Burger out.